Together. Hey Rolf, it's great to see you again. Thanks so much for coming back.
Yeah, I'm very pleased to be here. It's wonderful. I had a very good experience. You know, the map that we generated in Germany, in Braunschweig, I saw the JPEG file and I saw it on the screen. I was impressed on so much details that we have put on the JPEG file on the map. But when I saw it coming out of the EFI printer, I was really blown away. It was a huge quality. It was so impressive to see a map really running out at 5 by 7.5 meters, which is what I learned today, 3.2 billion pixels, individual pixels, showing the wonderful world in a size and in a quality that I have never seen before, even if I'm with the company.
So can you just explain for our viewers now what Locr is and what it does, and maybe a little bit about why you started the company as well?
Yeah. So we started the company with a completely different idea. Probably all of you know Flickr, which is a photo sharing company where people can upload their photos. When we started the company, we did it to make it with geotag photos. You know, all the smartphones nowadays, they have a GPS receiver in there, and therefore geotags are very common, very popular right now, and are applied to each photo that we do. And we did that, and with doing this community, which still is successful in the marketplace, we came to maps because we wanted to show where the photos had been taken. And coming from there, one of our first big customers in Europe was CB Color, which is the leading photo book maker, making more than 6 million photo books a year. And we implemented with them the mapping solution that each person that wants to make a photo book really can show in the book where they have been, what trip they did, and where the photos have been taken, and so on and so forth. And coming from there, we got projects in the direct mailing, direct marketing environment, where companies want to promote their products, want to promote their sales outlets, and so on and so forth. They open a new sales outlet and they want to show how close it is to the individual recipient. And that brought us to personalized maps, where each recipient gets his own map showing his own location and probably the next location around where to go and where to buy a product.
Fantastic. So Rolf, this entire project, it really didn't take long, did it? It was only 1 week in the conception of it?
Yeah, it was probably, I said it was a crazy idea, and I was bringing up this idea probably 8 to 10 days before the Drupa started. We had the opportunity that we were in talks with EFI that wanted to have some maps from us with their locations, where their representations are all around the world. And then we came up with the idea, as EFA has this wonderful widescreen, wide format printers, we found out that there is a possibility to print things in 5 meters width, and based on that we thought it would be a good idea to generate the biggest map in the world and really put a lot of information in there, probably information that you have never seen on such a huge work. And then I went back to engineering and asked them, hey, can you do that? And as it all happens, first they said, you are totally crazy, how can we handle that within these few days? But on the bottom line, within I think 3 days, they really managed to generate a JPEG file covering the whole world with 300 dpi print quality, with all the details, all the important cities around the world in all different languages and character sets and so on and so forth.
Well, what was the challenge for you in making sure that, because the detail on that map is incredible, you know, you've got all the different cities in all of the different languages.
Right.
What was the challenge for Locr in being able to do that?
Actually, it was not the challenge to generate in principle such a map, because we do it day by day. This is our standard business, but normally the maps are much smaller because they go into the direct mailing, direct marketing type of business or photo books. But the challenge really was to generate the huge size. The huge size which nearly breaks the limit of a JPEG file definition, or it was just huge. It's I think it was 230 megabytes or so, or even bigger.
I think it was about 20 gigabytes, the file in the end.
Yeah.
Once it had been ripped using Fiery.
Once it had been ripped, yeah.
Yeah.
And probably to make it available in a form that it can be ripped without any problems. So that was something that we were heavily looking into.
Okay.
I finally managed to do that due to the cooperation with EFI and the great engineers on the EFI side and the great guys on our side. So I was really happy.
Rolf, can you tell me, why did you pick EFI to work with for this project?
I think we have a longer time relationship and contact with EFI. Our director of marketing had this personal contact. I personally did not have. And therefore we thought EFI is the company to make the best quality out of it, to make the biggest map, as we wanted to break a barrier, to really make it a huge size map. You know? Just making an A0 poster is something that we can do all the time and that everybody can print out. But making a map with that size, with that quality, really no other players in the market that really can do it. So we are very happy to team up with EFI and to do the project.
And cheers for doing so, and cheers for doing so live on camera as well. It's a brave
wonderful.
thing to do.
It was great for us.
And obviously with Klaus as well. That was
wonderful.
So, what do we know about this map technically? Because it measured 5 meters, which is obviously the largest print width we can do in a single piece. Now, technically, the EFI Quantum, the 5 meter, can technically print any length, 5 meter by any length.
Yeah.
But actually, 7.5 meters, if you're looking at the world map as we're used to looking at it, that is the extent of it proportionally.
Yeah.
So what do we know? Is it the most detailed for the size that we have? What do we know?
Let me say like that, for the short notice that we had, for the time that we had to generate this map, I think is the best that we could do, and I still think that is the most detailed map that has ever been generated, has ever been printed. I wouldn't say, I can say we could even do much more. We could add more details to it. We can change the color representation. We can change the color representation. We can add details to it. We can do much more, but within this short period of time, short notice, it was it was the best that we could achieve, but it was already very impressive.
Yeah. Okay, and what were the technical aspects that maybe you didn't know before about print that you learned through this project?
It was all about size. We didn't know how difficult it is to rip, so we went through different phases with Gregory here, for instance, to really make sure that the quality comes through, that the rip really can handle the file size and all of that. But at the bottom end, everything turned out very nicely, and we have seen the results.
Perfect. And just out of interest, a quick personal question for you before we bring Moshe from EFI in as well.
Hi, Moshe.
So, have you always been in the printing industry, or were you in a different industry? Why did you decide to direct your company, your idea, towards this space?
That's a difficult question. I'm coming from the computer industry.
Okay.
So I built my career many years ago with an own company in the computer industry, building multimedia products and graphic products and things like that. So I was always related, even if I was making high-resolution graphic screens and graphic cards for Apple Macintoshes and other PCs in my previous career. I was always related to the creative industry, let me say like that. We work with Linotype and all the other people, so I always had a favor for this industry. We came to the printing industry due to the fact that customers asked us while we started the company, or after we started the company, to provide maps that can be printed in high quality. And there was really no player around the world that was focusing on the printing industry and on the quality of data to provide to the printers. And nowadays, I think we make a lot of our business in the United States, for instance, and a nice part of it in Europe. we think that we have the leading technology there, and there is a lot of opportunity to grow further in all areas, in direct mailing, direct marketing, with huge number of variable data and personalized maps in smaller sizes. But we also see opportunities in this large size map, and due to the relationship with EFI, we met the photo booth guys here, and we are going to announce something tomorrow about a possible relationship that this can be a very interesting contact to put on the floor, put on the ground. Think about the
wayfinding. A wayfinding application.
Yeah, something like that. So if you think about all these touristic offices, and you put not a carpet, but you put such a huge map on the floor that can promote the region that the touristic organization is trying to promote. So there are many applications coming up which we didn't have any clue before we printed this huge map first. So now people come to us and say, hey, this is great, we have ideas what we can do with it, and this is wonderful. This is absolutely great, and it's a result of our relationship.
So James, one of our viewers, just asked if we can make a map of Tilbury in the UK. Obviously that's kind of the point of Locr, isn't it? Is that you can make really hyper-local maps. So can we combine this maybe with EFI Reggiani textile print to make a bed sheet or a wallpaper or something?
We can do everything. So the flexibility on the Locr side is that you can generate any kind of map with any zoom level. As you know it from Google Maps, you can dynamically zoom into a region and go down to the individual rooftop in each street. So we could generate a 2x3, 3x4, 4x5 meter, or even small size from just a few streets up to a complete city, to a complete region, to a complete country, to a complete area, the United States or Europe or Australia or whatever. So you can select any region with any zoom level, with any level of detail, and make a small to a huge map from it.
He just said, what the hell, that's crazy, man.
Yeah,
it is.
It is crazy.
It's
a great
absolutely
opportunity,
mad.
and I love that.
There are so many applications. So there's so many applications for this. One of my favorite new companies in the UK is they're actually creating wallpapers for primary schools, for people with special needs, with disabilities and handicaps, and creating kind of printed wallpapers and printed floor spaces so that children can learn their way around places where they might not be able to before. So actually maps, there's something very sexy about cartography. It's information, and but it's also the presentation of our local space, and combining that with EFI and with wide format is really important. So gentlemen, we're going to need to squeeze together. We're all good friends. It's Drupa, it's fine. Okay, so this is Moshe. So this was really, yes, you guys are more important here than me, so let's do that. So Moshe, can you just tell us what your involvement in this project was?
Yes, of course. They told us in a few short time before the Drupa. They told us a few days before the Drupa, and they said that they want to print the larger print of the map that we ever created. And we said, okay, they sent us a file, we tested, and we don't have a lot of time before the Drupa. So we did another interview before the Drupa, one day before the Drupa, and we printed there. And it was amazing. It was amazing how the quality was out, and how we can create this a big rip, because the rip itself, when you go to the file, is 21 giga. And it took us something like 20 minutes just to rip it because of the layers and the big resolution that we have.
And so 21 gigabytes, is that unusual for a file of this size?
We can do better than that. We can do
very compressed and very attractive, really to move things forward.
Yeah. So gentlemen, we're going to wrap up now. So I just have one last question for you. If you want people to take away something about our project today, about the imaging of things, what would it be? Rolf.
You go. Oh,
Moshe.
What would it be? I think it'd be, in the tech of it, what we did is it's a fun. We love to do these things, and if people can do innovation and put it on the show, they're gonna love it, and they're gonna get from it. This is a new life, you know, new stuff coming in, and it's great.
Fantastic.
I think you said the words that I had in my mind. You know, the whole project came out of a fun idea. You know, we didn't know if this is ever going to be a product. We just wanted to show what technology can do, and we spent a lot of effort, jointly a lot of effort and a lot of work in making this happen and showing the world that the world is so nice and the world is so big and there's so many locations around the world. So, but we see that the idea coming from fun, the crazy idea, can generate new business models, can open new opportunities, which you do not think about in the beginning when you drive technology and innovation.
Out of the box.
Out of the box. And now, after these few days of development, we are in the situation to generate these mats from any area of the world. And if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago if we could do that, I would have said no way, you know. But it works, and it shows that we can do it. And this gives me the feeling that motivation, fun, craziness, and drives innovation. It's not the fact that you want to make money with it, sure, but it's not the money that drives the innovation and the motivation. It's the belief in technology and making new things and driving things forward.
And in the end, if you drive innovation, people want to do more crazy stuff, and more big stuff, and more innovation.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well done, guys.
Great.
Hey, it's really, really